to another planning session where we use real life experiences and interest based learning to teach our lessons. Our reading skill for this week is connecting actions to character motivations. We're going to explain how characters' motivation shapes the plot, explore how the goals, fears, and emotions cause events to happen, and how they also affect other characters. An example would be he lied because he was afraid of getting in trouble, or she told the truth because she wanted to fix a problem. So, we're going to be using real life experiences and the books that my daughter chose to teach these lessons. So, on day one, that's just setting the tone for the week. We are going to either have a movie night, watch a show together, or just go throughout the day. And I'm going to prompt certain questions to get her wheels turning before we get deep into that skill. Here's some examples of some questions I'm going to ask her as she's doing certain different things around the house. Why did you make that choice? What did you want to happen? What happened because of it? If you're watching a movie or you're reading a chapter in your book, we read a chapter every day. I'm going to ask her questions like, why did the main character hide the truth? What were they afraid of? Did that help make it worse? So, these things are going to help your child to see how motives create a chain of reactions in the stories in their lives. So, that's going to be on day one. Throughout the rest of the week, I'm going to go through some character motivation activities that we're going to do. The first one's going to be a motivational change. Choose a story or a movie, track what each character wanted and how that caused later events. Example, the character wanted to win. So what did they do? They practiced daily, learned teamwork, won the contest. Emotion detective. Pause during the reading and say, what clues can you tell me how they feel? Look for the tone, look for tone, body language, or descriptive words. Another activity is what would you do scenario. Present a hypothetical situation or a common dilemma and ask your child, if you were, whatever that character name is, what would you do and why? This helps them to step into the character's shoes. Another activity you can do is role play a scene. Pick a short scene from a book or a movie and act it out together. Discuss each character's motivation before or after acting and why did the character say or do this in that moment. Another thing is a newspaper headline story, or you can get that off of social media. It doesn't have to be an actual newspaper. Look at simple news headline or a picture in the newspaper. Discuss what might have motivated the people involved to act this way, and what do you think they wanted to achieve? Why did they say that? This is a different activity. When reading aloud, pick a line of dialogue. Ask your child, why do you think the character said that? What were they feeling? Or what did they want to happen before saying this? These are all activities that you can do throughout the week that's building that skill. You're going to get the same impact as if you were using a curriculum. Then we have our character motivation thinking tool. So, I'm going to give you an example how we're going to use this. My daughter watches Elvin and the Chipmunks. So the thinking too, it has a character, it has motivation, it has action, result, and the lesson or would change. We're going to use all the different characters. We're going to use Simon, we're going to use Elvin, we're going to use Theodore, we're going to use Brittany, we're going to use Eleanor, we're going to use Jeanette. And that's going to be the characters. We're going to talk about their motivation, their action, the result, and the lesson or the change. This organizer is going to help your child to see the complete chain from what characters want, what they want, all the way through into what they're learning. There's going to be helpful for like longer stories with complex character development. So if you're reading a chapter book or something, you can use that as well. Another thing that you can do is you can do a physical flow map. Get some index cards and some yarn and so or some string to show connections. You're going to write each element on the cards, arrange them in sequence, and discuss how that leads to the next. So that thinking tool can be used with anything. If you get stuck on some guiding questions that you want to ask them, like what do I ask my child when we're doing this? How, if they're stuck, how do I pull it out of them? Here's some questions you can ask. What goal drives this character? What emotions influence their choices? How do they respond when things go wrong? What lesson do they learn by the end? Or some event focused some event focused questions. What happens because of the character's motivation? Does their motivation change? How do this move the story forward? These are all different questions. And if your child is struggling and they need some extra support, make sure you use a story with a clear cause and effect. Fables and short animations are great for this. Discuss feelings before reading. Have you ever felt this way? And you can always use sentence starters. He wanted blank, so he blank. Because she felt blank, she decided to blank. These are great things you can use if your child is struggling. By the end of this, they're going to be able to identify what motivates a character, explain how motivation drives the story, recognize emotional clues in text, and they can link actions to results, all without using a curriculum. Just your everyday real life experiences, anything that you want to use to be able to teach these skills. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. If I use this for all of our reading skills, we teach everything through real life experiences. So if you are interested in doing this for your child, I have the link to our guide in the description. So thank you again for joining. And if you have any questions, leave me a comment and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you guys.